I came to Paisley to film the Abbey. From the air, it's the obvious story. The tower, the stonework, the old streets gathered around it. But Paisley has a habit of hiding the stranger story underneath the famous one. Because behind this abbey is a town that remembers saints, kings, witches, curses, and it's held together by one girl whose life connects Paisley's darkest hours to its greatest prosperity. If you know Paisley at all, you probably know it through a football club. St Mirin have been playing here since 1877, and for a lot of people, that's where the name stops. But the name goes back much further than football. Mirin was an Irish monk who came over from Ireland in the 6th century, and the people here took to him so strongly that they built the town's whole identity around him and never let it go. 1500 years later, people in Paisley are still saying his name. The Abbey turns up in the 12th century, and it's here because a powerful man chose Paisley. Walter FitzAlan was the first High Steward of Scotland, and he brought in monks from Shropshire and built one of the most important religious houses in the country, right here on the White Cart River. His family turned that title into a surname, and that's how you get the Stewarts. The same Stewarts who ended up ruling Scotland and later the whole of Britain. The whole line begins here, with one man who decided this town was worth it. But the Stewart story really turns on someone else. Marjory Bruce was Robert the Bruce's daughter. In 1316 she was riding near Paisley when her horse threw her. The fall killed her, but she was carrying a child and the baby was saved. That boy grew up here beside the Abbey and became Robert II, the first Stuart king. Every Stuart monarch after him comes back to her. Mary Queen of Scots, James VI, all of them. And it traces back to a young woman who died in a field just outside Paisley. There is a monument to her inside the Abbey. Hardly anyone stops at it, but without her, the whole royal line doesn't happen. The Abbey has survived fire, collapse, and centuries of repair. In the 16th century, the central tower came down, damaging the choir and transept and leaving the nave as the part still used for worship. What you see today is part medieval, part restoration, and part Paisley refusing to let the building disappear. But the strangest story I found in Paisley wasn't carved into the Abbey stone. It started with a girl and a jug of milk. Her name was Christian Shaw. She was 11 years old, living at Bargarin House just outside Paisley in autumn of 1696. Her father was a landowner, and as his daughter, Christian had the run of the house and the say over the servants. One day she caught a woman called Catherine Campbell stealing milk, and she told her father. Catherine Campbell cursed her. And in Paisley in 1696, you didn't shrug a curse off. People here believed the devil was real, that he was close and that he did his work through ordinary folk. They believed an angry woman could call harm down on a child and have it actually happen. So when Christian started having fits, not long after, nobody in the house thought she was just unwell. They thought something had been done to her. She convulsed, she screamed, she had episodes the family couldn't stop or explain.
My poor wee bairn, Catherine, why did you curse my daughter? Look at what you've done to her now. You will burn for this.
Her father did what a man like him would do. He brought in the ministers, he brought in the law, and he believed every word his daughter said. And Christian, in the middle of her fits, started naming people she said were hurting her. The ministers wrote her words down. The church elders argued over them. The court in Edinburgh sent men to look into it, and at every step, the grown-ups around this girl made a choice to take her seriously and go one step further. Nobody made them do it, they decided to. One of the names was Agnes Naismith. Agnes was an old woman, nearly blind, the kind of neighbour folk had grumbled about for years without ever quite saying what she'd done. She kept to herself at the edge of town. The town had never warmed to her. When her name came up, nobody was surprised. It was almost like they'd been waiting for it. She had no family with any pull, no money, no one to stand up and speak for her. She faced these men with a lifetime of muttering behind her and a frightened girl pointing her way. And she didn't really have a chance. 6 others were condemned with her, 3 men and 4 women, most of them poor, most of them on their own, all of them named by a child the whole town had decided to believe.
Have you no word for the Lord, old hag?
I have no word for your Lord. I laid my curse on every soul who came here to work.
On the 10th of June 1697, they were taken up to Gallow Green, on the high ground above Whitecap Water. 7 people strangled, then burned. They were strangled first. At the time, that counted as mercy. As they were led through the streets, one of them turned and cursed the town. That same day, somebody hammered a horseshoe into the ground at Maxwellton Cross to hold the curse off. It's still there. People in Paisley still know what it's for. There are folk who won't stand on it to this day. That's what real fear looks like, 300 years after the people who felt it are gone. Those hangings at Gallow Green, the last mass execution for witchcraft anywhere in Western Europe. The people lighting the fires had no idea they were closing a chapter of history. They thought they'd done the right thing. They went home, and Christian Shaw got better. She grew up, she married, she lived into her 50s, which is more than any of the people she named ever got to do. And then she did something nobody could have seen coming. In the early 1700s, Christian Shaw came back from the continent knowing how to spin fine linen thread better than anyone in Scotland was doing at the time. She put it to work. What followed changed Paisley completely. The mills, the looms, the weavers, the Paisley pattern ended up all over the world. A lot of it traces back to her, and that's the uncomfortable part. The girl at the centre of Paisley's witch trial later helped build one of the industries that made the town famous. From up here, the Abbey sits right at the heart of it all. The cart bends around below it. Oakshaw Hill rises behind, with the old school and observatory, a reminder that this was a town that believed in learning as well as in God and the devil. The Abbey is still the thing you see first from the air, but the Abbey is only part of the story. It was standing when Walter FitzAlan brought his monks. It was standing when Marjory Bruce died nearby and her son became a king. And it was standing when 7 people were walked up to Gallow Green while the town watched and believed it was doing God's work. Christian Shaw is buried somewhere here in Renfrewshire. The trade she helped start outlived her by 200 years, and those names she called out back in 1697 only survived because somebody wrote them down. Paisley remembers all of it. It just doesn't get to choose which parts. Neither do we.